The E28 is eufy's newest robot. Now it's got a portable spot cleaner, and that seems pretty clever, and you've probably seen a lot of paid videos on it. But eufy hasn't paid me, and I'm gonna run it through our battery of over 20 different tests and find out if this thing actually lives up to the hype. Now, when eufy first sent me the E28, the first thing I noticed is that it has a roller style mop pad. And I found this to be really effective in other robots. So instead of vibrating or spinning pads, it has this roller mop style they called hydrojet. Now it's got two water tanks. It's got a clean water tank which is on board, and that refreshes the mop as it's rolling. And the second water tank is this dirty water tank. You can see it's got a filter to catch things like cat hair, dog hair, and other stuff. And when this goes back to the base station, this gets emptied out. So as the E28 is working, it wets the floor and then it scrapes dirt off of the pad. Then it puts clean water and detergent onto the roller, and it captures the water in this dirty water tank. So in my opinion, the big advantage of a roller style mop pad is the fact that it's not just gonna move the dirt around your floor and then clean it when it goes back to the base station. It should be actively cleaning the mop pad as it's cleaning your floor. To test how effective the roller mop is, we spilled some coffee on the floor and then we let it dry overnight. Let's see how the E28 handles it. We let it run in AI mode, which means it's going to auto-detect dirt on the floor and supposedly clean it up. Let's see how it did. It did one pass, and clearly it definitely left some dirt behind. And that seems pretty typical for a lot of robots. They don't do very well in AI mode, but let's send it out again and we'll have it do two passes and see how clean the floor is after. It just finished cleaning the floor with two passes in manual zone cleaning mode, and it got most of the stain out, but not all of it. So I'd say it's pretty good, but not as good as the best robots out there that you can buy. Now let's try the same test, but with liquid. You can see the floor is still wet. Let's see how it did. Okay, it's not perfect. It did leave some coffee behind. I think with another pass, it would be good, but that's a lot of coffee. The E28 roller design is almost edge to edge. It looks like it's gonna get very close to the wall. So we're gonna test it along the baseboard to see exactly how well it does. So despite the fact that the mop goes right to the edge of the actual robot, the robot needs to stay about an inch away from the wall so it won't scratch it up. So it doesn't actually get that close to the edge. I'd say about an inch away. Now the E28 has 20,000 pascals of suction, and that sounds like a lot, but suction isn't really what matters with a robot vacuum. It's how it actually picks up the dirt from your carpet or floor. So to test that, we're gonna sprinkle 20 grams of sand onto the carpet, let the robot do its thing. Two passes maximum suction. Now for the second pass, we're gonna sprinkle 20 grams again, but we're gonna grind it in with our special purple grinding in shoe. It's magic. Let's try the E28 one more time. We measured how much the E28 picked up after we sprinkled down the sand, and it was 77%, which is about average. When we ground in the sand, we found pickup was 65%. Again, about average for this price class of robot vacuum. I've scattered 20 grains of rice and a little bit of pet hair along this baseboard to see how well it picks up all this stuff. Kicked out a couple pieces of rice out to the middle of the floor, but it seems to be picking them up on the second pass, so that's really good. To test corner pickup performance, we've put down 8 grains of rice and a little bit of pet hair. Now for cleaning your floor, it actually has two side brushes, one over here, which is stationary, and the second one over here, which pops out and gets into corners. So it should do pretty well. All right, a perfect score. It successfully picked up all the rice, all the cat hair. Nice job. When the E28 is in AI mode, it does a pretty good job a lot of the time. Here where I dumped a bunch of crackers on the floor, I had it set to AI mode so it would mop and vacuum automatically. It actually did get to the crackers and clean them up pretty well. It missed a piece here and it seemed to mop around it. So it's not perfect. It wasn't mopping over the crackers, which I think is probably a good thing, but then it went and finished a little bit early. So I'd like to see it do another pass, but there's always room for improvement with software. The E28 has a pretty unique roller design. You can see it is split into two pieces, and this is designed to reduce hair tangles from pet hair and longer hair. If you need to clean them, they kind of pop up like this. They don't actually come out. And you can see back here, there is a row of teeth that is going to be scraping the hair off these rollers. So let's see how it works. This is some 7-inch hair that I've sprinkled it all across the floor. So let's see how the E28 does, picking it up and detangling it. Let's take a look. Seems pretty good. I don't see any major tangles here. Little tiny bit on the side brush. That's pretty good. And the same test with cat hair. It's gonna be a challenge to see if this blows it away or not. It is very light. I had to give it a little help with that fluffy, fine pet hair because my cats are very light and fluffy, and most robot vacuums will blow hair away. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, there's a little bit of longer hair here, but I didn't give it enough time to really do its work, but the pet hair seems to be not stuck on the brushes. Next, we're gonna get into obstacle avoidance and navigation, and that involves AI. But you know what's not AI? Me. Me and my team spent sometimes days making these videos. So if you value a real person with real opinions, please consider subscribing. The E28 uses multiple sensors for obstacle avoidance and navigation. It's got a spinning LiDAR system on the top. There's a camera in front. This is called the AIC system. Also has an LED so it can light up the room when it's a little bit dark. It's got a side sensor over here too. To test out how well it navigates in the real world, we've got a shoe with a shoelace untied. We've got a power cord along the wall. We got a sock, and we got some fake pet poop. Let's see how it does. So the E28 actually did excellently. It identified all of the obstacles and didn't collide or touch any of them in any meaningful way. So it identified the shoe, there's the fake pet poop, the sock. So really, really solid obstacle avoidance. And in the real world obstacle zone of my house, it's been very good at avoiding the things that matter, like cords and shoes. Now, a lot of robots don't spin their side brush on carpet by baseboard. Well, that could be an issue. Can it survive the cat attack? It actually does do a pretty good job at identifying pets, but let's see if it does. Yes, it is spinning the brush along carpet on baseboard, so good job. Very few robots actually do that. Now, the base station is where things get interesting. This space station has all the features of a more expensive robot and then some, which I'll get to. You've got hot water mop washing. You've got hot air drying for the mop. You have auto emptying. Of course, you have a clean water tank in the front, and you got a dirty water tank in the back. And if you do need to clean the base plate, it comes out pretty easily. But let's get on to the fun stuff. This cover comes off, and you got a hose that you can use for deep cleaning your carpet, your sofa, your couch, and even your car. This whole unit comes off. So let's go outside and do a little cleaning. And while I'm cleaning my car, I'm gonna let the robot clean the inside of my house. This is my very old and dirty Honda Fit. I don't think I've actually cleaned the back in years. It's got a lot of dirt. It's got some cat hair and probably some staining. So let's see how the E28 works. First, we gotta make sure it's plugged in. Next, I wanna make sure there's enough water in here. Next, we're gonna hit the power button, and then we're gonna let her rip. First, I'm trying it without water. Now to get the water going, I'm gonna pull this trigger. All right, the dirty water tank is full. Oh my gosh, that is pretty nasty. Let's pour it out and see what it looks like. Ooh, that's what was in my car. After about 10 minutes of work, this is what the car looks like. That's a whole lot better than it was. And that stain that was here, it's not perfect, but I also haven't touched it in years. I think that's pretty good for a crappy old car. Let's look at the eufy app. So right now I've got it set in my living room. You can kind of rotate it around. And what I do like is that you see the furniture automatically, like those tables. I have set up these rugs. So if you want to edit something, it's pretty easy to set up something like a no-go zone. You can also edit furniture and add beds, for example. And when you're going to have it do some vacuuming and mopping, you can specify exactly how you want it to happen. Vacuum and mop, cleaning intensity, and so forth. Then it does have an AI automation mode, so you can hit that and it's going to automatically deal with your floors and your carpets. And that's pretty nice. You can set up zone cleanings, which is kind of nice too. So you just want to clean that area. And you can have multiple floors also. However, to do some basic things like just adjust the base station and have it do some cleaning, you actually have to go into the settings, so it's a little bit counterintuitive. However, once you dive into here, you can definitely do things like schedule your vacuuming and set up your cleaning preferences. It's not the best app in the world, but it's pretty serviceable. Now the E28 is a little bit on the louder side. When it's vacuuming and mopping your house, measured at 6 feet, it's about 60 to 62 decibels. That's around the same as an office conversation. However, when it's emptying the dust bag, we measured 85 decibels, which is actually extremely loud. And when it's washing the mop, it maxed out at 80 decibels. So I would definitely not recommend running this at night. So final thoughts on the eufy E28. So first, if you want to keep in touch with the latest vacuum news and deals, subscribe at vacuumnerds.com. So the eufy E28 is a very unique setup. You've got a portable spot cleaner and a robot kind of combined into one single base station. And that means you're going to save a lot of space. Now also the price right now is around $1,000 to start. The thing just launched. I expect it's going to come down a little bit, but that's where it's at right now. So if that seems like a good value for you, if you need a spot cleaner and you're looking for a good robot vacuum, this is a pretty good choice. We gave it a total score of 83 out of 100. And for this price point, that's pretty competitive. So let's talk about the pluses and minuses. This has very good navigation and obstacle avoidance. If that's important to you, eufy does a really good job with that. This is actually class leading, as good as some of the best robots out there. Pickup performance on hardwood is pretty good. Pickup performance on carpet is decent as well. It's kind of competitive with the eufy S1 Pro, so it's definitely not the best in class, but it is decent. Mopping performance, I think, is kind of interesting. So it does have this roller design, which I really like. It does use a lot of water, although in my opinion, it does leave a little bit of streaking behind. It's not as good as the eufy S1 Pro, which is more of a mopping focused robot. So if that's really your focus, if you need a lot of mopping, I'd actually consider going to something like that. If you have pets or people with long hair in your house, this is also really good too. The anti-tangle capabilities are really, really strong with this one. Now the functionality of the base station is really good. You've got hot water mop washing, hot air drying, all that kind of good stuff. However, it is very, very loud when it is emptying out the dust canister off the robot. So take that into consideration. And when it's just going around your house and doing mopping and vacuuming, it's on the louder side too. So just keep that in mind. So the big question is, does the eufy E28 live up to the hype? Well, if you're looking for a combination spot cleaner and robot vacuum, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. There isn't anything else that does both these jobs. Now, if you're looking for just a more basic robot, I think the eufy X10 Pro is a great deal, and we've reviewed it several times, and I think it's very, very good. If you're looking for something that is more of a high-end mopping focused robot, there's some other choices out there. And if you want to use my links down below, it'll really help the channel, and check out this video right over here.